Comments for the week ending February 5th from the Beef Farmers of Ontario. There were 486 head of fed steers and heifers sold through auction markets last week, up 74 head from the previous week. Fed steers averaged $314.52 per hundredweight, down 48 cents per hundred, and fed heifers averaged $310.48 per hundredweight, down $6.95 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported on Tuesday that fed steers and heifers sold actively at steady prices. By Thursday, fed cattle sold $3 to $4 per hundredweight higher. In Ontario, dress sales were reported at $5.30 per hundredweight delivered, steady with the previous week. Cattle were being booked for the week of February 16th delivery. U.S. packer interest was noted, but no sales were confirmed. For the week ending January 24th, 2026, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports to the U.S. were 5,532 head, 7% above last year and 64% above the 5-year average. Year-to-date, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports were up 34% from last year. Cull cow receipts sold through auction markets last week were 2,324 head, up 281 head from the previous week. Cows averaged $180.55 per hundredweight, up $249 per hundred. Beef cows averaged $195.83 per hundredweight, down $828 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported on Tuesday the fed cows sold higher. By Thursday, fed cows sold on a steady trade. Total receipts were 7,515 head last week, with receipts of 3,092 stock and feeder cattle selling through Ontario auction marts, down 142 head from the previous week. Auction markets reported on Friday, January 29th, that calves and sold on a strong, active trade. By Thursday, stockers sold strong at firm prices. The Quebec electronic market prices were not available at press time. Last week, Alberta fed steer and heifer prices closed the week at $3.05 and $3.03 per hundredweight respectively, $2 per hundredweight higher than the previous week. Dress sales were reported from $505.25 to $506.50 per hundredweight delivered, steady to 50 cents per hundredweight stronger. Cattle that traded were scheduled anywhere from immediate to the second half of February delivery. Sales to the U.S. worked back to around $305.50 per hundredweight FOB the feedlot, a $2 to $4 per hundredweight premium over local deals. By Wednesday, February 4th, light trade developed, with dress sales reported at $510 to $517 per hundredweight delivered, $2 to $7 per hundredweight stronger than the previous week. For the week ending January 31st, Western Canadian fed processing was 34,682 head. Year-to-date processing is 12.4% lower than last year. The U.S. cash cattle trade last week saw most of the trade take place during the second half of the week. Dress sales in Iowa and Nebraska were mostly at $378 per hundredweight, steady to a couple of dollars higher than the previous week. Live sales in the north were from $240 to $244 per hundredweight, while sales in Texas and Kansas were from $242 to $245 per hundredweight, $2 to $5 per hundred higher. Last week's cattle processing was estimated at 536,000 head. For the beginning of February, this is the smallest processing since 2016. This is Jamie Kerr with the Beef Farmers of Ontario Market Information Report.